I'm Marc Limet from the Brouwerij Kerkom in Sint-Truiden in Belgium. The area where the brewery is called Haspengouw. It's a very nice region. You have really small cities and small towns. People there call it the Tuscany of Belgium, just with the hills and everything. The brewery in Kerkom was founded in 1878, more than 130 years ago. It was 3 generations in a family of Clerings. It was closed in 1968, and then it was 20 years closed, the brewery. And then in 1988, Jean Clerings started again with the Brouwerij of Kerkom. And since that moment I know Kerkom and the brewery and the beer. The first time that I came to the brewery, it was wow. And then in all the years I went many times back and for the beer and for Jean. And we became very good friends. And we took the brewery over in 1999. So, but I could imagine, thought in 1988 that I going to do that for my living. It was a dream, but I never had the idea that I'm going to do that for real. And but yeah, you see, when beer is a passion, you do crazy things.
So, when you bought this place, it was the brewery, it was your house.
Yeah.
It was also this cafe.
Also this cafe.
And other little things, parts of the farm, everything.
Everything.
How much land?
100 years ago, I think every land surrounded the brewery was from the brewery. But on this moment, we have 1 acre, 1 hectare around the brewery. So, but it's more than enough.
But did you buy this place?
In 2003. I started brewing here in '99.
Oh, okay.
So and we rented everything about the brewery and everything else. But in 2003 we bought the place here.
And you were from around here? You lived around here normally?
50 kilometers from here.
Oh.
But that's for us a very big distance,
yeah.
And for the States is it nothing.
And when did you start brewing?
The first time I brewed was in amateur brewing.
Sure.
It was I think 20 years ago that I brewed for the first time. And it was not so easy. Yeah. But I learned a lot from books and I tasted a lot of beer. So and it was a passion. So beer went a passion, and you see what you can bring your passion to. So
yeah. Well, hopefully it's happy.
yeah. It's not easy to do this on this moment in Belgium. When you are a very little brewery, it's not so easy to do. It's very hard, but when you have the beer in you, I enjoy it every day. It's a very nice thing to do. It's a typical building for that part of Belgium. It's a Vierkantshoeve, it's a farm in a square, quite big. We are not sure when the building was built, but we are very sure that it's at least 300 years old. So it's quite old. Before it was a brewery, it was what we call in Flemish an afspanning. And you can compare it with the tank stations on the highways.
Cheers.
And in the old days, people could stop there with horses and with coaches and had to have a drink, and to have the horses give some food and have also a drink before they went further with the trip. At this moment, unfortunately, we're not brewing again in Kerkom. With all the new laws that we have now in Europe, especially also in Belgium and in the Flemish part, I could not brew again from 2007. So the last brew that I made in Kerkom was in end of 2007.
This is original roof?
And now hopefully we can start again next year. But at this moment it's very difficult to get starting again for all the permits and everything to exactly correct. It's not easy and it costs a lot of money, and that's a big problem. So this is the new brew house, but just the essential parts. So the beer that I made with the equipment that we have there was very good, but it has nothing to do with the beers. It has everything to do with the food laws. And everything must be washable. So you cannot have bricks and wood. But yeah, in a farmhouse from 300 years old, everything is bricks and wood. And they go so far now that we have also windmills in Belgium. But the windmill is wood and it's a stone, the milling stone. You cannot use it anymore. I find it crazy. What they are doing now, it's completely crazy. Everything can come from factories with coloring and adding preservatives and everything. But everybody who tries to make something real, it's doable, but it's very difficult. Can you imagine that people from the government come to you, to a Lambic brewer, who brews for 100 years in the family Lambic beers, with the wooden barrels and everything, and they come to you and they say, you have 1 year and every wooden barrel must be gone. And it took them 3 years to go to Brussels and try to explain it's not possible, and it was a very good thing that they did their best to understand it, but it's crazy, it's crazy. And since that moment I knew it, in a few years they are here also. And it was from that, and the people who control you, the government, didn't know one bit about brewing, or about the brewery, or about beer, not one thing. Now we're brewing at in 2 breweries. The big bottles come from the Brouwerij, and the smaller bottles come from the brewery of St. Joseph, in the north of Limburg. If we could start next year brewing again, we could start with the kegs, because bottling at the brewery, it's on this moment not possible. It's too expensive, and I don't see I can arrange the permits to do that on this moment. So, but if we can start again to bottle kegs in Kerkom and brew the kegs again, that's a start. Bink is a nickname from the people from Sint-Truiden. It means a smuggler. When people 100 years ago did things to survive, they smuggle everything that they could smuggle on that moment. Everywhere in Belgium you have other places and names for that same kind of people.
So a Bink was a thief or a...
Not really a thief, but he did things that was not so...
ethical.
Yeah.
You see he's got this rope around over his shoulder.
Yeah, but he picked it up, the rope, but he didn't know that there was a cow on the end of it, so that's a Bink.
That's the story that when the police stopped him with the cow on the rope, he just said, "Oh, there's a cow on this rope?"
I just picked up a rope, but I didn't know that there was a cow on the end of it, so that's the reason we call it.
And that's a story that sort of describes the character of a Bink?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, there you have it. And most of your beers are called Bink, but not all the beers.
Not all the beers. In '88 there was just one beer, it was a Bink Blonde. And that was a typical beer that I really like and still do. A blonde beer, not too strong from alcohol, and nice hopped, Belgian style hopped. And I drink it very gladly, and me and my wife we call it poison. Because if you have one Bink Blonde, you want to have another one. And that's really the idea after all our beers that we do. If you have a beer, you want to have another one. Balanced beer, clean beers, and typical style for that we brew.
Obviously this one it's less than 6%, it's
5.5.
Yeah?
Between, yeah.
And obviously hoppy?
Quite hoppy.
Dry hop?
Not really dry hopping, light hopping. Just after boiling we put in extra hops to have the aromas in the beer. And the brown is a little bit softer, but it's an easy going brown drinking beer. It's a very nice beer. Then the Blossom that I brewed for the first time in 2000. The farmhouse is located in the region with all the fruit trees in Belgium. In April all the trees are flowering. It's very beautiful. And to have a beer linked with the flowers, we make the Blossom Bink. And that's a beer brewed with honey and pear syrup. Not a sweet beer, but a lot of people think because of the honey and the syrup it's a very sweet beer, but it's not a sweet beer, it's still beer. But it's a very nice, it has a very nice nose and a very nice aftertaste. We have the regular Winter Koninkske is 8.5 alcohol, brewed with juniper berries and oatmeal. And then we have since 3 years now the Grand Cru. And that's a beer very strong, from alcohol 13%. And it's really a good beer to, when it's very cold outside, to share with a few friends big bottles.